Hi Pritesh.
Hi Aditya.
Welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
Thank you so much.
We just saw you playing a nice remix from a song that you produced for Jolly LLV.
Yeah, right.
So that is just one of the many projects that you have done. So why don't you tell us all about your family background and how you kind of grew up in
Uh, actually, I'm not from music family background. Actually, my dad is a doctor, so it was very difficult for me to come into this music line. Actually,
So was there pressure that since he was a doctor, you also should be a doctor?
no, we have a family business of diamond, and
Wow.
yeah, he always wanted me to go to the diamond business actually.
Okay.
So, and it was very difficult for me to convince him for me to get into the music.
Okay.
So while I was in college, he sent me for learning all these diamond cuttings and all this stuff.
So where did you go to?
I go to Panchratna in our cousin uncle's office.
Okay.
So, and after a year and a half, I was fed up and I just ran from there.
So diamond doesn't.
Diamond didn't work for me.
That sparkle did not attract you.
It was just too boring enough for me. And I always had a soft corner for music. I usually, in my early days, I used to do a lot of oil paintings. So, and while doing oil paintings, I used to listen to a lot of English music and
Okay.
yeah. So
Now it's maybe I think you're one of the first people on this channel who comes from a background where, and when you look at diamond, it's a lot of money. So typically anybody, especially in India, would say "Kyare live set," go in that, and music is something where people discourage you to go into music and films in our country at least. So how did you convince your family? I mean, it is.
So it was really difficult. I mean, one day I just ran from the office and I told my dad I'm not going to go to the office at all. So my dad was tense and what will you do in music? You can't even earn 10,000 rupees a month. So how will you run your family? So I requested my sir Xavier Fernandez. I used to learn jazz piano from him. So sir came to my place. He convinced my father, give him a time of 1.5 years of his life. And if something doesn't work out, then you can always ask him to go to Diamonds back. So that was the only time I had 1.5 years in my hand. But things started falling out, and I got some few people who just really helped me and to do a lot of work.
Okay.
So I think at that way I started money, and in that 1.5 years, in fact, I did a lot of work. I don't know how, but I did so much of work that I never had to look back.
Okay, that's nice. But in coming back to your journey early, school, college days, what all have you learned in music and formal training? And
I basically started learning tabla first.
okay.
After some time learning tabla and a little bit of harmonium, then I went for learning jazz with Xavier Fernandez. Learning from him for around 2.5 years. So I started learning notations also from him. So I read all the staff notations. And after that, even Mr. Tony Pinto helped me out with some classical training on my piano. I also had a soft corner for playing classical guitar. Okay. So I did a little bit of that, but ultimately left in between. And that's it. Then it all it happened.
Okay.
My dad got me a good keyboard at that time, and
how old were you?
I think I was around 15 or so. Okay. And he had a friend called Musabai. He has his band.
Okay.
So he had a band out. He was very famous at the time for doing dandiya shows.
Achha.
So he just took me there. He's my boy, and can you just train him? So Musa thought कि was this is the guy. I mean, I can have it in my band, and who can always spare time for me, and he'll be always there whenever I need. So that way it all began, and ultimately I ended up doing shows like 40 shows in a month or so,
40
bunking
shows
my
in a month?
colleges. Yeah, bunking my colleges, and so there was a call from my principal. They called my father. The boy is not attending the college. So my father said he's doing a lot of music shows, and also so that's the whole reason. The principal really appreciated that thing. And after that,
How do you do 40 shows in a month? I mean, can you please tell us?
night time we had dandiya shows. The morning time we used to do some other Lagnageet shows or whatever,
Wedding.
wedding shows or some daira kind of stuff. So
Oh, okay.
that all
So you
that was all real struggle, carrying keyboards in hand, carrying speakers, and it was full.
Okay. You never used any of your family money in your music career
No,
at all, right?
that was the only keyboard my dad, and that was pretty expensive. 25,000 rupees keyboard at that time was pretty expensive.
Yes.
So he helped me out with that, and after that it was never looking back. I saved all the money, and whatever money I used to save, I just used to buy equipment. That's it.
That's very nice.
Nothing else.
That's very nice. And so in college, did you do shows also in college as a band or something?
Yeah, of course. I did a lot of shows in colleges, and I met Tausif Akhtar there actually. He's my buddy and he's my good friend, and we together started doing some private albums, his ghazal albums. Then later on, Chintu Singh came, and he also we jammed together and did some albums with him also. So that way I started my recording career basically. Then Tausif introduced me with Mr. Sayyid Ali, who was very busy doing tips albums, version albums at maybe that time. He used to maybe do 8 to 9 albums a month.
Wow.
So he told me, you just give me some 1 or 2 tracks. If I would like them, I would rather have you.
So were you doing this on computers?
No, at that time there was no computers. I used to have a TS10 and a 1W for sequencing.
Oh.
So and I made 2 versions for him, and from there it was never looking back. Then I think I didn't have the time for next 2 years. I mean, I used to do 5 albums a month or so, so it was very pretty hard. But the whole that 2 year struggle of doing copying the music of the great music directors actually, what they had done and what they produced, I mean, gave me a lot of confidence and ideas how to approach a song,
Okay.
or how to go arrange a song, or what instrument is played how. I mean, that really helped me. Doing 2 versions for such a long time was
Okay. Okay. And so that was doing a lot of albums then.
yeah.
So
After that came the era of Punjabi songs.
Okay.
So I did a lot of albums for Mr. Daler Mehndi with Ravi Pawar and Jaydev Kumar, and doing a lot of Punjabi albums there. And later, gradually, I started working there. There were times when people called me for some film sessions also. So it all started there. By that time, I had some Mac computer laptops, and the software era came gradually.
Yes.
So, and the main
Turning point.
turning point was when Juku Rajat Dolakia called me for doing his jingles, and oh my god, that 6 months I was in a full mess, doing two jingles, 3 jingles, and traveling to the town every time. So it was really hard work, but it was real fun. So from him I learned how to approach a song really with good chord progressions, and think in a different way altogether. So I mean, suppose you have to think this song, this guy, any other guy would think like rather in this thing, but you have to think in a different way. So how will you approach it? Basically all that ideas I learned from him.
Okay.
So it was a good fun there.
So you gained a lot of experience by
Yeah.
different projects that you did.
projects, yeah.
Correct. Who else?
In fact, Ravi Pawar also helped me out. Ravi Pawar was very fantastic at Indian music.
Okay.
So he used to do really good music and really help me out with good chord structures and all that stuff. So I learned a lot from him. And then it all started. I think I it all changed with the Vienna software that I got.
Okay.
the I
Okay.
think the most branded work what I got is from after I bought the Vienna.
Right.
So just before that, Mr. Raju Singh had called me for some work.
Okay.
So I was very afraid of going to, because I thought Raju Singh, I don't know, I never knew him.
Hmm.
And he told me to arrange one or two songs of his.
Okay.
And I just started one sign, I remember, and made him heard it, and he was like, "Boss, I got it. I got this guy." So I now, and after that, I think every day, like for next 3 years or 4 years, I was working in the studio most of the time,
Okay.
most of the days, because he used to do a lot of background scores, and that background scores doing with background scores with Raju Singh helped me a lot. I started doing a lot of orchestral stuff by that time, and he always inspired me. I mean, this is, make it more heavy, make it more larger. So he always helped me out how to grow into that background.
Hmm.
And suddenly I was doing Veej Zara with Money, RS Money, and I did all the strings and major programmings of that tracks. So it sounded really well. So, and suddenly I got a call from Mr. Sanjay Bansali's office that they wanted me to do the background score, program the background score for them. So I went there and it all started. It was the biggest break actually I ever got.
Right. So you worked
Like,
with somebody in that?
yeah, Monty
Monty
Sharma, yeah.
Is there any speciality of yours that you're very good at orchestral, or you're very good at remixes, or you're very good at?
You can say
Electronic
that I like doing a lot of orchestral work actually.
Okay, you like doing.
I like a lot to work with acoustic instruments rather.
Okay.
After Black, I was basically doing a lot of orchestral work for most of the background scores. I did Savaria. Savaria songs, in fact, were also most towards orchestral.
Yes.
Then Savaria background, that was orchestral. After that, I did Gangster for Mr. Raju Singh. Um, there was Jannat 1, Jannat 2, Raj 2, Raj 3, Murder 2, Murder 3, and all these movies. Lot of orchestral stuff actually.
Okay.
So
That's what you enjoy.
yeah,
kind of.
I love to write string parts and brass
Okay.
parts, especially woodwind parts.
Okay.
So
So how do you get to learn all these things? Meaning, we don't have a culture of orchestral music in India as such.
yeah.
So in your case, coming from a non-musical family background, how do you ensure you listen to, or what all do you listen to? How do you grow musically?
Yeah, well, during backgrounds, I used to listen a lot of OST scores.
Okay.
I ordered a lot of CDs from Amazon actually.
Okay.
So every month I used to save this much money for just buying audio CDs and
Right.
getting all those Hans Zimmer CDs and John Barry and all that, which we didn't have at that time. Internet, I suppose, didn't have that
Mm.
at that time. So
Yes.
we have to always buy from Amazon.
Right.
So a brand new CD came, and we used to spend whole day just listening to it. How the string arrangement was done, how Hans Zimmer put some small guitar parts behind that string, and
Right.
it really helped out how to approach a piano with a guitar. I mean, how both can work together.
Okay. So all this kind of listening inspires you to, create
Yeah.
your own.
Yeah, and
Tunes.
how these guys approach an orchestra, how an orchestra is placed, and how to produce a sound like like it's playing in a full hall. I mean, you cannot put everything in the center. I mean, you cannot record like strings has to place, the string has to be placed in its own place or in a studio
Right.
approach. So and how to create a big sound by having minimal instruments.
Yeah, a lot of people I've spoken to, or at least they also keep mentioning this word big sound.
Mhm.
It's a film sound.
Mhm.
It's a bada parde ke liye. That kind of
Yeah.
typical term is used in our industry. How do you exactly get a big sound? Because everybody has a software, but from that, how do you make it large? How do you make it big?
Basically, it's just the approach that makes it big.
Okay.
The kind of chords you use, the kind of instruments you use. I mean, you never have to layer 15 instruments to get it big
You
sound.
don't need 100 tracks to make it
You
big.
just need one instrument to be placed correctly, played correctly, selection of the sound, selection of the effects on it. So
That's
even,
what.
yeah, even a small symphony can sound really big with the good processing.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
don't need to layer too much stuff.
But then, like you rightly said, it's the approach.
Yeah, it's the approach.
It's the soch.
It's the soch.
So Pritesh, can you show us how you kind of create an orchestral track and some example that you've done?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just did the background score for Andar Bahar
Okay.
with Vijay Prakashan. So we both shared the name for that.
Okay.
So I did one piece for that. It's a like full string orchestra playing one symphony and flute. That's it. But that's
The big sound that
yeah,
we are
the
talking.
big sound you are talking about.
Okay.
I'll just show you something.
Sure.
And the best thing I think Aditya you are doing is getting all these good gears and softwares to us, which is very difficult to get for most of the guys because I remember always my brother was in US, so he used to get me some equipment and always did some dadagiri on me. And that was, I am getting it, I will charge this much money to you if you want this. I am not going to carry all this. So I think you've done a really good thing, and people should buy official software actually. I think I cannot work without buying a software. My conscience doesn't allow me to work that way. And I also started getting a lot of hardwares and good gears also. So I think it's really good because all these gears we never used to have it here. So I think this is the very good work, and I always want to see Sudeep Audio even bigger than the Sweetwater.
Thank you so
I
much.
mean,
Thank you so much.
recently, this is all programming, and I got my first offer as a composer for Tanu Mano by doing a background score.
Wow.
So I shared a name with Krishna. And for the first movie, I was lucky enough to get a Filmfare nomination.
Wow.
For that, so it really helped me. And after that, I did one Kannada movie, Andar Bahar, as a background composer, and now I'm doing a solo as a background composer. I'm doing Tamanchi
Okay.
movie. Just completed the movie right now.
Okay. And you're sure there's a lot of work lined up for you?
Yeah,
and
it's pretty.
So it's very nice to know that somebody from a rich background who does not go into the family business, who just takes one help from his father and creates his own kingdom, with original software, which you are one of the very few people I know that buys always original. And with your own effort, mehnat and dedication, you've created your own name and a very nice setup that you have.
Thank you.
Thanks Pritesh for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Always.
Yeah.